This journal entry is powerful, poetic, and deeply vulnerable. From the perspective of an expert therapist, it reveals multiple layers of trauma, identity conflict, existential fatigue, and intergenerational burden, especially through the lens of being a Black man in a society that often dehumanizes, commodifies, and disposes of him. Here's a therapeutic analysis, breaking it down into key psychological, emotional, and existential themes. 1. Hypervigilance and chronic survival mode. Quote, when a man steps outside, he is in competition. When a bleeding man steps outside, he feels like prey. Analysis. This reflects chronic hypervigilance, a hallmark of trauma, especially racialized trauma. The body and mind are constantly prepared for threat, even in spaces that should feel neutral or safe. This constant alertness is mentally and physically exhausting and leads to nervous system dysregulation, insomnia, irritability, and long-term health impacts. Second role, overload and conditional worth. Quote, if he relaxes in work, he is lazy. In life, he is a failure. In parenthood, he is a deadbeat. Analysis. This is an expression of role strain and internalized oppression, where the worth of the self is measured entirely by performance. There's no room to be. The only acceptable state is doing. The demand to be strong, capable, and enduring creates an identity trap, one where vulnerability is punished and rest is equated with failure. Third, intergenerational and collective trauma. Quote, deep wounds, unhealed wounds, our father's wounds, our mother's wounds, our grandparents' wounds. Analysis. This shows an acute awareness of intergenerational trauma, the idea that pain, fear, and learned responses are passed down not just emotionally, but neurologically and culturally. The entry doesn't just name the pain, it describes the inescapability of it, the haunting feeling that to be born Black is to inherit a wound that never fully closes. Fourth, complex trust dynamics. Quote, don't tell me to close my eyes in deep sea surrounded by sharks. I will always be bleeding. Analysis. This powerful metaphor speaks to mistrust, betrayal, trauma, and a sophisticated survival instinct, even potential allies. The sharks learning not to bite are seen through a cautious lens, and that safety is conditional and often illusory. 5. The psychological toll of systemic racism. Quote, it is a very cruel concept of life, a system that hates you, so suffocating. Analysis. This is a recognition of structural violence, not just individual acts of racism, but a system that grinds down one's sense of agency, hope, and self-worth. The suffocation felt here is existential. The author is trapped in a world that demands everything from him while giving nothing back, leading to burnout, hopelessness, and racial battle fatigue. 6. The trap of excellence. Quote, be better, be greater, give everything to everything until there is nothing. And then you're told, oh, you think you're better than the rest. Analysis. This captures the double bind of Black exceptionalism. The need to overachieve in order to survive, followed by resentment or alienation when success is perceived. It reveals how success itself becomes another form of marginalization, and how identity gets distorted in a system that never truly affirms your humanity, no matter your achievement. 7. Search for meaning amid pain. Quote, maybe I can give them a better place that makes the bleed less. Analysis. Here is the hopeful thread, however fragile. It reflects generative thinking, Erickson's stages, a desire to pass down something slightly better than what was inherited. It's not the fantasy of full healing, but rather a practical, sober wish to reduce the damage for the next generation. This is a sign of resilience, even if it's worn thin. 8. The limits of therapy and mindfulness. Quote, Don't tell me to close my eyes in deep sea surrounded by sharks. Analysis. This is a critique of mainstream mental health tools that often lack cultural and situational sensitivity. For someone constantly under existential threat, being told to relax or breathe feels insulting. This calls for a more culturally attuned approach to healing, one that understands context, validates reality, and does not pathologize survival instincts. Closing reflection. This journal is not just a vent, it's a deep existential meditation on identity, survival, suffering, and legacy. It is saturated with intelligence, self-awareness, and cultural insight. From a therapeutic lens, this is someone who is not resisting growth, but is grieving, overwhelmed, and trying to stay alive in a system that seems built to crush him.